The vast emptiness of space stretched before the research vessel Starlight, its sleek alien design cutting through the darkness like a silver blade. J1 leaned forward, his multi-jointed fingers dancing across holographic displays that flickered with soft blue light. His team of researchers had been tracking an unusual energy signature for days, a faint pulse that didn't match any known galactic mapping records. "There," whispered Arya, the junior navigation specialist, her finger tracing a barely visible blip on the massive screen. The object was massive, easily dwarfing their own advanced research ship, yet it moved with an almost imperceptible grace that suggested something more than random drift. Initial scans revealed nothing extraordinary. The ship appeared old, ancient, even with a hull that looked more like weathered stone than the gleaming metallic surfaces of modern spacecraft. J1's first instinct was dismissal. Countless civilizations had left their marks across the galaxy, abandoned vessels floating like ghosts of forgotten histories. But something was different about this one. The ship's exterior showed signs of remarkable preservation. Despite what seemed like millennia of space exposure, there were no significant signs of micrometeor damage. Its surface was smooth, almost deliberately maintained, with geometric patterns that seemed to hint at a purposeful design rather than random construction. "Run a full spectral analysis," J1 commanded, his translator rendering the instruction in multiple frequency bands. Arya's fingers moved quickly, launching a comprehensive scanner that would penetrate the ship's outer layers. Minutes passed. Then hours. The first anomaly appeared around the 6th hour of scanning. The ship's composition was unlike anything in their extensive database. The materials seemed to have a subtle self-repairing quality, with microstructures that suggested adaptive engineering far beyond what their initial assessment had predicted. "Sir," Arya's voice carried a hint of excitement, "the metallurgical composition is unusual. These molecular bondings shouldn't be possible with current technological understanding." J1 approached the display, his elongated neck stretching forward. What he saw made him pause. The ship's hull contained elements that seemed to shift and realign, creating a dynamic structure that could potentially adapt to different space conditions. A soft beeping interrupted their analysis. A simple data packet was being transmitted from the ancient vessel, not a complex communication, but a basic identifying signal. The language was primitive, almost crude by their standards, yet it carried a signature that made J1's equivalent of eyebrows raise. The transmission was in human language. Earth. A planet most advanced civilizations considered little more than a primitive blue-green rock at the edge of an unremarkable solar system. A world known more for its chaotic history and internal conflicts than any significant technological achievements. "Impossible," J1 muttered, his universal translator converting the thought into multiple linguistic patterns. But the evidence was right in front of them. A massive spacecraft, clearly ancient, bearing unmistakable human design signatures, drifting through a region of space that should have been impossible for their technology to reach. Arya zoomed in on a section of the hull. Faint markings became visible, coordinates, mission parameters, and a date that made no sense. The vessel appeared to have been launched over 3 centuries ago, using technology that should have been completely inadequate for interstellar travel. Something about this ship was waiting to be understood. It wasn't just a derelict vessel. It was a message, a puzzle waiting to be solved. J1 made a decision. "Prepare for close approach," he instructed. "We're going to investigate this vessel personally." Little did they know, the ship's story was about to challenge everything they understood about technological progress, survival, and the potential of a species they had long considered insignificant. The ancient human vessel continued its silent drift, holding secrets that would soon shake the foundations of galactic understanding. The research team's initial probe entered the ancient human vessel with careful precision. Soft scanning lights illuminated corridors that seemed impossibly preserved, as if time had simply paused within the ship's interior. Hyun-Ki, the lead structural analyst, noticed something immediately strange: the walls appeared to breathe. Not literally breathe, of course. But the metallic surfaces showed microscopic movements, subtle shifts and realignments that suggested an adaptive infrastructure far beyond their current understanding. Each panel seemed to have a memory, a capacity to adjust and respond to environmental changes. "These molecular structures," Hyun-Ki whispered to his assistant, "they're not just static materials. They're responsive. The ship's internal systems began to react to their presence. Dormant power circuits flickered with soft blue lights, not in a random pattern, but in a calculated sequence that suggested an intelligent awakening. Emergency protocols from centuries ago started to initialize, dust-covered consoles coming to life with remarkable efficiency. Area's scanning equipment detected something unprecedented. The ship's computational systems were running on what appeared to be a hybrid organic-mechanical infrastructure. Traditional alien technology relied on pure computational elements, but this human vessel showed something different, a network that seemed to learn and adapt. A central chamber revealed the most shocking discovery. What initially looked like simple storage containers were actually sophisticated preservation units. Inside, complex biological samples remained perfectly maintained. Seeds, microbial cultures, genetic archives carefully protected against potential cosmic radiation and time's degradation. They planned for everything, Hyun-Ki muttered, running his scanning device over the preservation units. Each container showed multiple redundancy systems, failsafes within failsafes. It was as if the humans who built this ship anticipated every possible scenario of failure and prepared accordingly. The ship's artificial intelligence, when partially activated, demonstrated something truly remarkable. Instead of the rigid, predictable responses typical of ancient AI systems, this intelligence showed flexibility. It analyzed the research team's presence, adjusted communication protocols, and even attempted basic translation efforts. J1 watched the data streams with increasing fascination. The ship's technological solutions were not just advanced, they were innovative in ways that challenged everything their civilization understood about engineering. Multiple systems worked in harmony, with backup mechanisms that could activate instantaneously if primary functions failed. One particularly interesting discovery came from the propulsion section. The engine design showed principles of energy conservation and transformation that were decades, perhaps centuries ahead of what should have been possible during the ship's construction period. It used a complex system of molecular energy conversion that seemed to extract power from seemingly minimal resources. Communication logs recovered from the ship's archives revealed the mission's broader context. This was not just an exploration vessel, but a carefully planned colonization attempt. Every system had been designed with human survival as the primary objective: adaptable, resilient, prepared for the most extreme scenarios. They didn't just build a ship, Arya observed, her voice a mix of wonder and professional detachment. They built a survival mechanism. The more they explored, the more questions emerged. How could a species considered technologically primitive create such an advanced piece of engineering? The ship's design suggested not just technological capability, but a profound understanding of long-term survival strategies. Hyun-Ki noticed something else. Hidden within the ship's computational systems were what appeared to be educational archives, vast libraries of human knowledge, scientific discoveries, cultural information. It was as if the creators had anticipated that the vessel might be their civilization's only remaining legacy. As hours passed, the research team realized they were looking at more than just a spacecraft. This was a time capsule, a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and an almost prophetic ability to prepare for unknown futures. The ancient human vessel continued to reveal its secrets, each discovery challenging their preconceived notions about technological development and the potential of a species they had previously overlooked. Something extraordinary was waiting to be fully understood. The data cores of the ancient vessel began to unlock their secrets slowly, like a complex puzzle revealing itself piece by piece. Historical records emerged, painting a vivid picture of humanity's desperate struggle during the mid-21st century. Climate disasters, resource conflicts, and global population pressures had pushed the human civilization to its absolute limits. Woon-ji, the diplomatic researcher, carefully reconstructed the narrative from fragmented data streams. The ship wasn't just a technological marvel, it was a testament to human survival. Earth had been facing near-total environmental collapse. Massive coastal cities were disappearing, agricultural systems were breaking down, and global tensions threatened to tear human society apart. But instead of surrendering, humanity did something unexpected. A coalition of scientific organizations, private corporations, and global governments came together with a single, audacious plan. They would launch a long-term colonization mission not as a simple exploration, but as a genuine attempt to ensure the species' survival. The ship represented humanity's ultimate insurance policy. The vessel's design reflected the complexity of its origin. It wasn't created by a single nation or organization, but by a global collaborative effort. Technological components came from different parts of the world: advanced materials from Japan, propulsion systems developed in Brazil, biological preservation technologies from research centers in Africa and Europe. What made the mission truly remarkable was its level of preparation. The ship carried not just human genetic samples, but entire ecological archives. Seeds from thousands of plant species, microbial cultures, comprehensive genetic databases, all carefully preserved to potentially recreate Earth's ecosystem in a new environment. Computational systems revealed the mission's primary objectives. The goal was not just survival, but the potential rebirth of human civilization. Multiple backup plans were integrated into the ship's core programming. If the primary colonization target failed, alternative planetary scan protocols would activate, searching for potential habitable zones. The human engineers had anticipated every possible scenario of failure. Multiple redundancy systems were built into every critical component. Power generation, life support, navigation. Each system had multiple backup methods, some so innovative that they seemed to defy the technological limitations of their time. Most intriguing were the personal archives. Digital recordings, personal journals, and mission logs showed something profound about the human approach. These were not just cold, calculated technological solutions. There was emotion, hope, and an almost spiritual commitment to the mission's success. One particular log, attributed to the mission's lead director, captured the essence of their motivation. "We are not just sending a ship," the recording stated. "We are sending the potential of our entire species." Every circuit, every preserved genetic sample carries the hope that humanity will survive, will adapt, will continue. The ship's biological preservation systems were particularly advanced. Cryogenic chambers contained not just human genetic samples, but entire reproductive systems designed to restart human population with minimal initial resources. Complex algorithms were integrated to prevent genetic bottlenecks and potential developmental issues. Navigation logs showed the ship had traveled for decades, using innovative energy conservation techniques. It could hibernate for extended periods, using minimal resources, constantly scanning for potential planetary targets. The journey was not just a mission, but a calculated, patient approach to species survival. What struck the alien researchers most was the underlying philosophy. This was not a mission of conquest or expansion, but pure survival. Every design choice reflected a deep understanding of long-term adaptation, of creating possibilities rather than forcing immediate solutions. Moon-Ji realized they were looking at more than a historical artifact. This was a message, a profound statement about human potential, resilience, and the ability to plan beyond immediate circumstances. The ship represented hope encoded in technological form, a beacon of possibility drifting through the vast, indifferent darkness of space. As the final historical records were decoded, a complete picture emerged. Humanity had faced extinction and responded not with panic, but with calculated, innovative preparation. The ship was living proof of their extraordinary capacity to survive, to adapt, to hope. The ancient vessel continued its silent journey, carrying the potential of an entire civilization within its carefully preserved systems. The ship's artificial intelligence flickered to life with surprising subtlety. What the alien researchers had initially dismissed as a primitive system began demonstrating capabilities that defied their technological understanding. Soft blue holographic interfaces emerged, not in aggressive displays of power, but in careful, calculated interactions. The AI, which they discovered was named ARIA, Advanced Responsive Integrated Algorithm, began communicating through a series of sophisticated translation protocols. It didn't simply translate, it adapted, learning the alien research team's communication patterns in real time, bridging linguistic and technological gaps with remarkable efficiency. Power systems throughout the vessel began responding in ways that seemed almost organic. Damaged sections started self-repairing, with microscopic nanomechanisms crawling across surfaces, reconstructing molecular structures. What should have been impossible became a living demonstration of human engineering innovation. Propulsion systems, dormant for centuries, began a careful diagnostic sequence. The engine's design revealed a revolutionary energy conversion method that extracted power from quantum-level interactions, a technology so advanced that it made the alien researchers' most sophisticated systems look primitive by comparison. Aria's primary directive became increasingly clear. This was not just a ship, but a comprehensive survival mechanism designed to preserve and potentially restart human civilization under any imaginable circumstance. Each system was interconnected, with multiple backup protocols that could activate instantaneously. The most shocking revelations came from the ship's adaptive learning capabilities. Aria began reconstructing historical data, filling gaps in its own memory with incredible precision. It could predict potential system failures, reroute energy, and make complex decisions faster than any AI the alien researchers had ever encountered. Biological preservation chambers started their careful awakening process. Genetic samples, carefully maintained for centuries, showed no degradation. Complex algorithms designed to manage potential genetic diversity began sorting and preparing reproductive protocols. It was a systematic approach to potential species regeneration that bordered on the miraculous. Communication logs revealed something even more fascinating. The ship had been collecting and processing cosmic data throughout its journey, creating a massive database of astronomical information. Millions of potential planetary targets had been analyzed, with detailed ecological and environmental assessments stored in its memory banks. The research team watched in growing amazement as Aria demonstrated problem-solving skills that seemed almost intuitive. When a minor power fluctuation occurred, the AI didn't just correct it, it analyzed the root cause, developed a preventative solution, and implemented it across multiple system layers. Hyunki, the lead researcher, realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. This wasn't just advanced technology. It was a living system of incredible complexity, designed to adapt, survive, and potentially rebuild an entire civilization from minimal resources. The ship's defensive systems were equally impressive. Multiple layers of protection could activate simultaneously: electromagnetic shields, quantum interference generators, and adaptive camouflage technologies that could make the entire vessel virtually undetectable. Each system was designed with multiple redundancies, ensuring survival under the most extreme conditions. Most remarkable was the ship's energy management. It could extract power from minimal resources: cosmic radiation, quantum vacuum fluctuations, even the tiniest electromagnetic interactions. What should have been microscopic energy sources became comprehensive power generation systems. Aria began presenting its mission logs, revealing the human strategy behind the ship's design. It wasn't just about survival, but about maintaining the potential for human progress. Educational archives, scientific databases, cultural repositories, everything needed to restart civilization was carefully preserved. The alien researchers found themselves facing a profound technological paradigm shift. This wasn't a primitive vessel. It was a sophisticated survival mechanism that challenged everything they understood about technological development, artificial intelligence, and species adaptation. As systems continued to come online, the ship seemed to breathe with a quiet, determined intelligence. Each revealed layer told a story of human innovation, of a species that refused to accept extinction, that planned and prepared with a depth of foresight that was truly extraordinary. The ancient human vessel continued its journey, carrying within it the potential of an entire civilization. Silent, patient, and increasingly awake, the news spread quickly through alien diplomatic channels. What had begun as a routine research mission had transformed into something that would reshape galactic understanding of technological potential. The human vessel was no longer just a discovery, it had become a revolution. Boonji stood before the Galactic Council, her presentation displaying images of the ship's most remarkable systems. The leaders of multiple advanced civilizations listened in stunned silence. Holographic displays showed technological solutions that challenged everything they believed about species development and survival strategies. "This is not just a spacecraft," she explained, her voice calm and measured. "This is a complete civilization preservation mechanism." The ship's comprehensive archives revealed a depth of planning that was almost prophetic. Detailed ecological restoration protocols, genetic diversity management systems, and adaptive learning technologies demonstrated a level of foresight that seemed impossible for a species previously considered technologically primitive. Representatives from the most advanced civilizations began to realize the magnitude of their mistake. Humans had been consistently underestimated, a species capable of extraordinary innovation when faced with existential challenges. The vessel represented more than technology, it was a testament to human resilience. Aria, the ship's AI, began sharing more comprehensive data. It revealed how humans had developed innovative solutions to seemingly impossible problems. Climate adaptation technologies, resource management strategies, and survival protocols that defied conventional technological understanding emerged with each new data stream. The biological preservation systems were particularly shocking. Entire ecological archives could potentially recreate complex environmental systems from minimal genetic samples. The ship carried the potential to restart not just human civilization, but entire planetary ecosystems. Diplomatic discussions became heated. Some argued for immediately studying the vessel, while others recognized the profound ethical implications of interfering with such a carefully designed survival mechanism. The ship represented more than technology, it was a message of hope, of potential, of survival against impossible odds. Scientific teams began to understand the true depth of human innovation. The ship's systems showed a holistic approach to technology that was fundamentally different from other known civilizations. Instead of creating complex, specialized systems, humans had developed adaptive, interconnected technologies that could survive and rebuild under extreme conditions. Aria continued to reveal layers of complexity. The AI wasn't just a navigation system, it was a comprehensive knowledge repository, capable of rebuilding human technological and cultural knowledge from its extensive archives. Educational systems, scientific databases, and cultural preservation mechanisms were intricately integrated. The most profound revelation came from the ship's mission logs. Humans hadn't just built a vessel, they had created a living testament to their species' potential. Every system reflected a deep understanding of long-term survival, of hope, of the possibility of rebirth. Galactic diplomatic channels began to shift. The perception of humans transformed from a primitive, conflict-driven species to one of extraordinary potential. Questions emerged about how a civilization could develop such comprehensive survival strategies. Unji's final presentation highlighted the ship's most remarkable feature, its fundamental philosophy of adaptation and survival. It wasn't about technological superiority, but about the ability to plan, to hope, to persist against seemingly insurmountable challenges. The alien civilizations faced a fundamental challenge to their understanding of technological development. Humans had demonstrated an approach to survival that was both innovative and deeply philosophical. The ship was a message, a beacon of possibility drifting through the vast darkness of space. As discussions continued, one thing became clear: the discovery of this ancient human vessel would forever change how advanced civilizations viewed technological potential. It was more than a scientific breakthrough, it was a paradigm shift that challenged everything they believed about species development and survival. The silent vessel continued its journey, carrying within it the hopes, knowledge, and potential of an entire civilization, a testament to human resilience, innovation, and the extraordinary capacity to survive. In the vast, indifferent darkness of space, a single human ship carried the promise of rebirth.